Howdy folks and welcome to Spa. So let's get on with the fast lap. Right then, fast lap done and dusted, and let me show you the rules tab. Always have a gander at these because it will tell you where the off tracks are, which is around Spa Franca off tracks is going to be very useful. So definitely take a look around here, note the red zones, and put it into practice to minimize your X's in the race. Info tab for you, we have the Spa fixed iRacing setup, which is the one we're following. And if you are going to do the open session, do not run this setup. It is a higher downforce and straight line speed here is king. So yeah. Try a low downforce setup on it. But yeah, if you are doing open, try and find a setup best you can. Track temp of 82 Fahrenheit and a moderate usage of 44%. Now the lap I'm actually going to show you is lap 21, which is a 2-minute 12.285. You see there we did a lap a little bit quicker. Unfortunately, that had an off track at Pouhon, which I will explain because it's really, really annoying. But you can see there sort of, we are nipping into low 12s, but I'd say dipping into the low 12s a little bit, and then mid to high 12s is where I'm sitting, going to be in the race, to be honest. All about momentum and getting the power down as early as possible. And weirdly, the start-finish line is actually after turn 1. So I will mention that on the track guide. We'll probably go past turn 1 twice because then it will be useful for other seasons that are turn 1. But yeah, this one, for some reason, on the endurance layout where the start-finish line is actually after turn 1. So remember that at the end of the race. Make sure you go around turn 1 and down into Rouge and Raidillon, and then you can finish the race. Job done. Otherwise, above my head with my Discord, where the OLAP, BLAP, telemetry, and replay file will all be hidden in there. And also, if I get rid of that, I show you my split times right there, so you know exactly how I've done in which sector, so you know which one to focus on. So should help you a little bit of practice in there. Otherwise, not be waffling. Let's crack on with the guide. Right then, Spa, and we're hunting for turn 1, which is technically the last corner, but if you're not watching this on the endurance one, we are braking just before the 50 mode. There's a little marshal cutout. We're braking nice and heavy. Be easy not to lock up. Make sure you get on that red and white curb. Get on full power as soon as you can. We're in first gear, so be careful with the wheel spin and use a bit of the curbing on the left-hand side. Now, the endurance layout, this down here, right there, is a start-finish line. So remember that. Any other layout, you're fine, but you're looking for a Raidillon and Rouge. and the marshal post just there. Cut this corner on the left hand side, nice easy gradual turn in to the clip the curb there, and then when you get over the crest you can kind of straight line it and cut this corner a little bit as well to fly over Raidillon and then down the camel straight. Long straight, this slipstream will definitely be a thing. Make sure you get your defending right. It's kind of a slipstream all the way from turn 1, so you can't really defend it. It will be massive, but we're using this curb, but we're braking about halfway down it, which is really, really awkward, to be honest, half the time. Brake, third gear around here, clip a little bit at the curb. You can take way more speed into there, but make sure you get this corner and make sure you compromise it. You want to stay mid to left track on this point and really turn it back. Be careful of the curb there on entry. There is a gutter and it really spins the car around. And be careful of your rear tyres. You see my steering a little bit unsettled at the rear end, so just try and keep it short shifting fourth if you needed to get through there. Coming down the hill now, start the curbing on the left hand side. Want to brake in a nice heavy straight line, but remember it is downhill, so easy to snatch a brake on lock in. Easy around here, nice late apex around here. Start getting on the curb at this point, start feeding the power in. You will understeer wide, but try and tame it the best you can and just give the curb a little cheeky tickle as you go past. Bring the car over to the right hand side now for no name, and at this point you cannot brake in and coasting the car in. We're still falling downhill, so make sure you don't understeer wide. We can take a lot of this curb, but don't come off the red and white. You will be getting off track, and get back on the circuit as best you can. Down the hill to Pouhon now. These are awesome in a high downforce car. So any of those markers there, traffic light, marshal post, anything like that, turning point, slight dab of brakes, fifth gear. Make sure you give the curb a little wave as you go past it. Don't run wide, and this second part here is absolutely flat out, so don't worry about it in the slightest. It's easy in a high downforce car. Little bit of a straight now, good overtaking opportunity through here if you do get a little bit of a lunge. Start the curbing again on the left hand side. Make sure you get onto the curb and on all these corners when I'm mentioning them as well to really open up the corner. Nice and easy. You want a late apex here, probably about now. I miss it a little bit, but you want to stay far right to really open up this left hand here because that's the important one. Leads onto a little bit of a straight, so this one we need to carry the speed through. You can use a bit more curb here on the right hand side. You can use all of the green, but be careful of the off track when the curb ends. Red and white curb again on the left hand side. We're using that as a braking marker just before we get on it. Third gear for this. You can take a fair amount of curb in here, but don't get on the grass. It will pitch the car up quite horribly, and also you can run a little bit wide here. That's probably your limit. And then this last corner here, well, it's not last corner, but last corner for a while, absolutely flat out. Don't worry about it. Another slipstream opportunity through here. Remember Blanchimont, you can go too wide through here quite easily. High downforce car, but just time it right and make sure you leave plenty of room for each other. Blanchimont is just flat. It's not even trying this car. Absolutely fine. The important braking zone for the last chicane is the curb just on the left hand side. A couple of car lengths before it, brake in a nice straight line all the way down in first gear. Now avoid this red sausage curb on the exit. I do hit it, and you want to compromise this corner. So we're going to be far right as much as possible to open up the left hander. Use all of the exit curb, but do not use the AstroTurf because there is an off track. Bear that in mind as you get in it. Now, if you are watching this in the future at some point, this is the start finish line, so your lap is done and dusted, but we've got to go around turn 1 again. So marshal post 50 board, a couple of car lengths before the 50 board, brake in a straight line, first gear. I missed the red and white curb, which is a bit rookie of me, but make sure you get a decent exit because you remember you are full throttle for a very, very long way. Technically full throttle all the way to Le Com, so bear that in mind. Coming down the hill now, we are finishing the lap. Please make sure you get the checker flag on your screen. Make sure you don't just pull over after turn 1 because you have not completed the race. But yeah, that is us done and dusted. 212, 285. I wonder if I can get into the 11s. It would be a tall order. It's a very, very long circuit. Exits are so important, and slipstream will definitely be huge here. So time your overtakes. Make sure you see that checkered flag, and don't forget, if it did help you out, don't forget to like and subscribe. Do that lovely YouTube stuff. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. I will catch you on the next one.